That's where the collaboration is here. And so just looking throughout the call here, we got the Caggiano brothers, Pat. Pat and I, we're cousins in the business, and we collaborate with each other. He's in the Poughkeepsie area, New York, and Chris and Craig Caggiano are in Staten Island. So and Nurko is in Westchester County.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
if I could just real quick, you gotta, when you come over, when you're attached to the brick and mortar mentality, it'll take you a minute, but once you disconnect from that and realize that you do not need to tether yourself to a building, you've got these beautiful people that are all over the world that are just literally waiting to help you. All you have to do is pick up the phone, text them, call them. You'll never see a more collaborative community in this industry anywhere that you see here at EXP. And it's because, again, we all own the company. We're the second largest shareholders at EXP, the agents, next to the founder of the company. So why wouldn't we help each other? Because we all help the company go up, our stock goes up, and we all win.
Right.
Ariana, don't tell Tom and Dick, but I'm working on an excuse to get them down to Atlanta to come visit us towards the end of March.
Great idea. I'll tell you, we have warmer weather here than you do in Boston.
I bet you do.
yes. So the
I
end
will
of March.
definitely contact y'all.
Yeah. So just FYI, at the end of March, Tom and I are co-hosting with corporate the Northeast Regional Rally on March 28th.
That's gonna be.
Yeah, so
that's the traveling party. I was actually thinking I might fly up for that. I'm planning on going to the Charlotte, the Nashville, and the Atlanta one.
If you come up to Boston, you got a bedroom in my house if you want it. So
I might take you up on that. I'll see if the wife and kids want to get rid of me for a couple of days.
Daniel, you're an icon agent. We will march you across stage. You'll get your time on stage as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So on on March 28th, and we're doing 13 of these regionals around the country. Dick or Samantha, can you put in that link, or anybody who knows that link to where folks can find the 13 regionals? We're working on another one today with James Truong, our commercial president, to do a 14th one in Northern California. Anyhow, we are recognizing, it's called the Regional Rally and Recognition, where we pour into our agents and we feature agents who close their first transaction. We want to celebrate your first transaction because you've already surpassed the high percentage of agents who are newly licensed and never close their first deal. As you guys know, 86% of agents never see one deal, ever. They just quit the business within 2 years. So we want to celebrate agents who just closed their first transaction. We want to celebrate agents who capped, meaning they reached that $16,000 that they paid in to go to 100% on the residential side, or $20,000 on the commercial side. We're going to feature icon agents. Daniel Perret is an icon. We had a few other people who are icon agents here earlier today. We're going to give those icons more time on stage to train, to teach, to motivate. We're going to bring in 2 icons from out of state. They have to be from out of state, traveling 4 or more hours away, and they get to teach. So Daniel, if we haven't secured the 2 icons in Boston yet, you qualified to get 30 whole minutes to be on stage. We're going to have videographer, photographer. We have a lot of social media content. We're going to edit all this stuff and make you guys look like a rock star and help you create your YouTube channels, your Insta channels, and all of that. Okay. We're going to recognize the builders, who's a builder, the leader, the betas, and the alphas. These people are what we deem the influencers at EXP.
What's the date for the one in Boston?
Got it?
March 28th.
March 28th.
320.
Okay.
I love it.
100%
Regional recognition rallies. What a great concept. Men, babies cry for it. Men die.
Men die for recognition.
We all want that recognition. You better believe it. Brilliant.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Thank you all so much. I do have to jump off. It's late here in Atlanta, but I got everybody's number. Daniel, I'll get your number through Glenn. Tony, I would love to pick your brain. You're
happy to help anytime. I don't care.
Tom,
you're on,
Dick, I appreciate y'all so much. So thank you.
Have a wonderful evening, and thank you so much for being on
tonight. Thank you. Thank you.
I think Glenn's jumping on right now.
Glenn's jumping on. Thank you, Ariana. We'll talk to you later.
Hi, Glenn.
Oh, this
Welcome to the family, Ariana.
Hello.
Bye, Glenn. I have to go.
Bye, Glenn.
Oh,
Hi, Glenn.
Hi, Ariana. You're
Hi,
here.
Glenn. Yeah, I got
Yeah,
to
good to
talk
see
to
you.
everybody.
I'm
He's
sorry,
been
I'm gonna
taking
break up
care
the
of
party.
her.
I'm
Don't
gonna break
worry,
up the
Glenn.
love
Very good.
here and gets going. Got to break up the love. I know there's a love fest here, but not on my time.
Okay.
It's your watch. Let's go.
All right, guys, welcome to season 2, session 3 of Big Win Wednesday. I want to give a big shout out to our host tonight, Mr. Tony Hughes, who handled the first section, the iConversations. And we had an icon on earlier who closed 22 transactions in his first year and is now crushing it at about 50 transactions a year as a solo agent and still living the life, a full life that is now not all stressed out. Second portion was EXP Explained. Tony, I love your new presentation. I'm going to have to do some R&D and rip off and duplicate some of those slides to update my slide as well. I learn something new every time.
I love,
thank
I
you.
love, I love
Crush
the
Explained.
bubble popping. That's all pretty cool.
Okay.
Well, Tom,
This
I'm
portion-
staying on here tonight because I want to learn from you more about revenue share, even though I feel like I know it, but I know you know way more than I do. So,
all right, man, we're going to dive into that. And then the third session is what we're doing now every Wednesday. It's a marathon every Wednesday. I mean, I look forward to this every week, 3 hours of pouring into our team and helping you create the life that you want. Okay. Tonight, we're going to go through quickly the steps of agent attraction, call it recruiting, call it whatever you call it. But this is how we build our company. And to finalize it, we're going to talk about the big lie about revenue share. 99.9% of agents at EXP do not explain it correctly. Today, I'm going to expose the biggest lie ever about revenue share. Okay. One of the things I need you guys here is I need everyone's video to be on, please. Except you, Samantha. I know you're in the Philippines and you're working overtime for me. It's a requirement to have your video on. This is a privilege to be here. No video, we kick you
look at all
off.
those handsome people hiding themselves, Tom. What's up with that?
I know. 2 more seconds, and then we're gonna have to kick people out. If you're driving, please keep your eye on the road.
Let's start calling people out. Anthony Kim, Craig Caggiano.
Oh, there he is. Look how handsome that guy is.
Anthony Kim.
Okay.
I've been
If you're
listening the
eating
entire
dinner,
time.
if you're eating dinner, we get it. Eat dinner. I don't care. I'm cool with that. This is 3-hour marathon here. There you go, Pat Manning. We're good with that.
There you
Okay.
go. I don't know, Nicole, camera on.
10, 9, 8,
Say bye to Craig.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
Oh,
2,
Uh-oh.
1.
Oh no. Bye-bye.
Bye, Craig.
All right.
You guys can watch this on the YouTube channel afterwards. Those who show up win. Those who show up get the knowledge, because we don't have to do this. We're an agent-owned, agent-grown organization because we pour into you. Like Tony says, I'm going to help Tony build his revenue share organization. I'm going to help all 15 of you build your revenue share organization. Okay. And I'm going to give you the secrets, the tips on how I do it. After 5 short years, my organization is now 1,188 agents, okay, spanning 37 states and 5 countries. And here's the disclosure for YouTube and for Glenn Sanford. Just because I did it doesn't mean you can do it. Just because I did it at my slow pace doesn't mean you can't do it faster than me. But my success is not a guarantee for your success, right? Sam, when you edit this video, take this little comment out, but put up the full disclosure that corporate requires us to disclose for a revenue share. Okay, but here's the good thing. In the past 3 years, I've been in this business for 5 years. In the past 3 years, I have witnessed agents who've been on this call to get the training, to do R&D, which is rip off and duplicate. And so many of them have far surpassed the speed at which Tony Hughes has built it, Dick Lee has built it, and I myself have built it. These new folks are armed with better tools, better training, better scripts, a better company 5 years later than it was 5 years ago. EXP is the place to be. And if you want to build a lifestyle that you want to, a lifestyle of freedom, location freedom, time freedom, personal freedom, financial freedom, you have it all available to you. Now, here's the first lie. Only 1 out of 20 ever see any massive level of success in agent attraction. Why? Because they just can't handle rejection. The only thing you guys risk in building revenue share is your what, Tony and Dick?
Oh, man, I mean, if the only thing you risk,
Is what, Dick?
Is my ego. I get to tuck my tail between my legs every day.
there it is.
Your
Yeah.
ego.
That's it.
And the problem with agents is you can't get out of your own way to get your ego out of the way and just handle the rejections. Because when you understand this program the way I understand it, and Dick and Tony and Pat Manning, who I know are the rock stars builders here, you know that you have the ability, guys, to change real estate agents' lives once and for all for generations to come. Wow. How powerful is that? When you have that belief, when it goes from here into your heart, nothing stops you. When it goes from here into your heart, nothing can stop you. Earlier, our icon agent says, I asked him, what makes you tick? And what did he say? The big why. Why are you doing this? Why would you stick your neck out on the line and get rejected by agents who think it's a pyramid scheme, who thinks the company's going to crumble, who thinks all you do at EXP is recruit, 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 and nobody sells houses? Well, that's the second lie. We sell a boatload of houses, don't we, guys? An S load of houses. All right, a boatload. Look at our numbers. Do the research. I still sell a boatload of houses. I have a closing every 10 days. Every 10 days, 3 a month, like clockwork, I still have a closing. So don't tell me we don't sell houses. Got it? All right. So let's talk about agent attraction. Some people would teach 5 steps. Some people would teach 6 steps. Some people would teach 7 steps. Sam, just help us out with the chat, and you can put this in the video later when you edit it. Step number 1. What is the first step, guys?
Make a list.
Make a list. Dick Lee, Pat Manning, why is it so important to make a list, and a big list?
It becomes your FU list. Every day I live and die by my calendar. You know, I'm chatting with an agent right now as we speak. Well, sorry I'm muting, but it's, you know, when they're texting, you respond. It's a list. It's your to-do list. It's like your groceries list. You have to have your chicken list made up. Okay. Call the biggest agent that you think will never join and call them. Start with a
Make a
text.
list.
Hey, Tom, do you have time for a quick 15-minute conversation?
Hold
the
on.
next
That's the
week.
second step.
But
Make a list. Why make a list, right? And do you keep adding to your list, Dick and Pat and Tony?
Always.
every day.
Always.
I never
Right?
take someone off a list unless they join or they die. To tell you the
All
truth.
right,
Or they
guys.
take a restraining order out on me, but they
Yeah,
never
or they
do.
say, that's right. Or they say, get lost, don't ever call me again.
Right.
And then I still, because I have a big why, I says, are you sure you don't want me to, are you sure you want me to lose your number forever? I would never call you again. Or are you sure you don't want me to just drip on you every 6 months and let you know how things are going and compare notes? Because if you are more successful than what this platform can provide for me, I want to hear your story. I want to join your company. I'll bring 1,200 agents over to you. And more times than not, they say, Tom, just follow up with me every 6 months. And, all right. That's the last step, is the fortune is in the FU, the follow-up. All right. So keep adding to your list. Got it? Okay. Where do you get lists? Well, they're everywhere. There's real estate agents on social media. There's real estate agents in networking events. Go to Eventbrite, search real estate agent events, go there. There's first-time home buyer shops where agents are showing and teaching programs. They're everywhere. Keep adding to your list, because if
Tom,
you
they put their picture and names and phone numbers on signs and stick them in people's front yards.
Oh,
We
yeah.
all have phones on our
isn't that a
camera.
novel idea?
They're
Yeah,
everywhere.
that's right. Step number 2 is invite. Learn how to professionally invite. Glenn had a guest on here tonight. He obviously did a great job inviting Ariana. Otherwise, she would not have jumped on and spent 2 hours with us. Glenn Park, congratulations. you learned and you mastered the art of professional inviting. It's all you got to do, right? Yonesh, welcome to the call. Arjun Kunwa, congratulations. You know the art of inviting. All you did was invite Yonesh, and we did the heavy lifting, didn't we? Okay. Every week, if you want to build your revenue share, you must have at least one guest on here, assuming, guys, that you are not personally showing the program. Every day, I personally show the program to 2 agents. Today, I showed it to a Compass agent, and I showed it who does about $8 million a year. And I showed it to another agent who does about $2 million a year. And those were in person at a Regis office space, back to back today, okay? I don't invite them here because I want it to be personal. The reason we do this every Wednesday is because you aren't comfortable showing it yet. So Tony's going to step in and do it for us. And if Dick Lee ever decides to step up, come back, he can do it too, right? And Pat Manning, he'll do it for you because we're growing, right? And you don't, so all you have to do is professional invite. So let's go through some inviting scripts. Dick, help us. What is the invitation that you use, or Pat or Tony or Arjun and Glenn, since you guys had guests here and you invited people? What do you say? Let's teach everybody.
Let's go with Glenn first, then Arjun, and I'll wrap that up.
Glenn, what did you say to
Ariana?
Ariana to invite her to this call tonight?
Well, can you hear me all right?
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I met with her and talked to her for about 2 hours, and then, you know, find out her needs and her motivation level. And then I basically, you know, tried to do the Zoom meeting, but you know, that didn't happen. So, you know, naturally I invite her to this big Wednesday, the webinar, and
love it.
she said okay.
I
So
love it. Thank you, Glenn. So there were some golden nuggets in there, folks. The golden nuggets were he invested 2 hours of his time, belly button to belly button, eyeballs to eyeballs, getting to learn her needs, her wants, her desires, right? Don't puke over people. You get to know them. And that's what Glenn did. And that's why he got her attention to come here. All right. Anyone else want to add how to professional invite? That's all I do. Sometimes I would meet with agents. I would never bring up EXP. Try that for a while. Just learn about their dreams, their goals. Ford, F-O-R-D, talk about their family, their occupation, their recreation, their dreams. Just learn about them and leave it at that. You're going to be the best conversationalist after that meeting. They're like, wow, that gal, Carlin, she was such a great listener. She asked some great questions. And Carlin, you might have never talked about you, but I promise you, when you follow that and you don't even talk about yourself, they think that you're an amazing conversationalist and you've just made a friend because you just poured into them and learned about them. And I only bring it up about EXP and what I do once most people will reciprocate. Most people will say, you know, that's enough about me, Tom. Tell me about you, right? And then when they say that to me, I says, okay, what part do you want me to tell you about? Do you want to know about my family, what I do for a living, what I do for recreation, or what my dreams and goals are? They pick the topic and I talk about it. I don't just say, hey, let's do EXP. Does that make sense, guys? Learn to professionally invite and just connect with people. So important. Okay. The follow-up is so much easier when you do that. All right. So that's step number 2, professionally invite. Step number 3. What is it? It could be 3 or 4 in any order. What's the third one? The wealth chart. The wealth chart. Okay. Samantha, would you go ahead to YouTube and search the wealth chart by Rob Flick and put that video right here in the chat? At some point, you have to track, you have to have a consumer relationship management database, and you have to be able to see who you are inviting, who's you've shown the program to, and that's called the wealth chart. It's a beautiful 35-minute video that Rob Flick does. It's 9 years old, but the information and the nuggets are right in there. Thank you, Sam, for that YouTube video. Click on that, guys, and make sure you save that and watch it tomorrow, watch it tonight if you want to take revenue share to a whole new level. the wealth chart. I have my wealth chart in my office and I look at it every day. It speaks to me. It sings to me. It tells me who I need to talk to and who I need to follow up with. My wealth chart's a little bit more complicated than the one that you can see in the video, because it also tracks how many agents are qualifying for me and how many agents are not qualifying for me. And I need to, I need to talk about and focus on agents who are in the business, paying the $85 a month, but not closing a deal every 6 months. I got to pay some special attention to them, and that thing sings to me. It speaks to me. And then I have agents who are already qualifying for me, and I drip text them all the time on reach. And I say, hey, Arjun, how many times have you got a text from me and my wife, my business partner, Arjun, saying, how you doing? What can we do for you? Right, Arjun?
Yes, all the time.
All the
And
time.
also- yeah.
Okay, this guy's a rock star. He's an icon in the making. All right, but they still hear from me. 1 week, it would be me. Next week, it would be my wife. Following week, it would be me. Next week, it would be my wife. Just a simple text. And most of the time, they don't reply. They says, Tom, everything's great. Man, I'm good. But you would be surprised how many times I see them in person. They say, man, I so appreciate that. You did not forget about me. Okay? That's what the wealth chart is all about. Step number 4. What do we do next? This is, in my opinion, a step in and of itself. Show the program. Show the program. The faster you can show the program, like Tony Hughes did today, the faster you will grow. One-on-one. I make it a priority to show the program to 2 agents a day, period, or follow up with them. Maybe I'm not showing up for the first time, but I'm following up with my tier 1 agents every day, at least 2 live conversations. And my head will not hit the pillow and lights will not go out until I have 2 conversations, but by text exchange or email or phone calls or Zoom calls or in person to talk about EXP. It's different from the Ford that I talked about. It's different from learning about the family, the occupation, the recreation, the dreams. That's not part of my 2. Okay? My 2 is I have to have a conversation with somebody about EXP. Okay, like today I called that, I met with a Compass agent live, and then I called today, I did 3 or 4, but I called the Compass agent and I just basically told him, dude, what are you waiting for? Tell me what I'm missing. You're leaving $40,000 on the table. Your contract has already expired. Your handcuffs are off. Tell me what I'm missing. Why aren't you making the move? Why was I so bold and firm with him? Because I've been chasing this guy for 4 years. I bought him many lunches and coffees, and vice versa, by the way. He's also bought me lunches and coffee. And sometimes you just have to lead and just say, tell me what the heck is going on? What am I missing, man? Is it my breath? Is it you don't like me? What is it? And he goes, Tom, you're right. Let's chat tomorrow. I'm with my daughter right now. Let's chat tomorrow. Let's have a heart to heart. Okay? So, let's review here. Number 1, make a list. Number 2, learn how to professionally invite. Number 3, have your wealth chart, a follow-up system. For some of us, we use CRM Grow. For others, we use KV Core. I don't care what your follow-up system is, you have to have a follow-up system. Number 4, show the program. If you cannot show the program as fast as possible, then invite them to Big Win Wednesday. Get your sponsor to do a one-on-one Zoom with them. I know Dick Lee does a boatload of them for his team. By the way, Dick's approaching what, 470 agents in your organization, Dick? Yeah, 470. Okay. All right. So Dick's my number 1 recruiter in our organization, and Dick does a boatload of one-on-one Zooms as well. He doesn't really send them here because here is good, but it's not personal. It's not personal. Got it? Okay. Number 5 is what? What do you do after you show the program? Dick? Tony?
FU.
It's a 3-way
Uh-huh.
call. You have to use, it's a 3-way call, testimonial. It's you try to do it. So what I do is I'm going to try to get Tom or Marissa on the call whenever I can. Sometimes they don't respond right away because they don't know I'm doing a Zoom. They don't know I'm doing a presentation. And then it's usually, if I don't get them, Then I try to reach up. I go up to Scott Lewis. I'm gonna go to Tracy. All right. I've got Gene and Rob on my call. And if
That's right.
nobody answers, I'm like, they're so busy building an organization. Let me invite you to Big Win Wednesday and we do the follow-up here.
Yep. Thank you, Dick. The three-way call is so important. Why? Psychologically, it is a third-party testimonial. It is them hearing a different voice, a different perspective from someone else who might have the same track record that they might be more relatable to. Think about that. Tomorrow I'm getting Scott Lewis. I'm trying to nail Scott Lewis down to do a three-way call with this Compass agent that I'm trying to get him to commit, right? He's heard enough from me for 4 years. Tomorrow, I get Scott on the line. I introduced him. I edify Scott. I edify him. And then I zip up. There's the art of the three-way call. We have tons of videos for you to watch that. Your job is to get a senior partner, another icon on the team, another rookie on the team to give a three-way testimonial. You prep them, and then they take over, and they are trained. We are trained to edify you and to pull you back into the conversation whenever it is appropriate. That is a critical step, okay? Unless you get really, 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 really good, you're not going to close them, Dick.
So just to back up to what Tom is saying, right? So everybody on this call here who wants to do agent attraction should be subscribing to CRM Grow, number one, in my personal opinion. Okay. Tom and I are working on another technology to help you guys with similar to CRM Grow, but that's not here yet. But you should really working on the Zoom. And if you're not comfortable presenting the EXP model as Tony did today so eloquently, that go on there, take the videos that Brent Gove has done, or anybody else that has recorded the video, and watch that video with them together on Zoom, and then get me on that three-way call. Because if I present as Tony did today, then you got to bring somebody else on to edify what I just did. Okay, so you lose as much credibility as I give to you. You lose my credibility if I'm the one presenting it first. Does that make sense? So I'm speaking to Chris Caggiano specifically as an example, right, Chris? Not to pick on you, but you can handle it. Okay.
Yeah.
I always say, Chris, as much as I want to help him, he needs to get Gloria on to do that presentation first, or Andrew Wu,
Right.
and then get me on there to edify that. Because I can't, if I do it, then you got to find
Yeah.
Tom to edify it.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. You have all these people. Glenn, watch the video. If they're a big player, I'll do it for you. If they're a newbie, Big Win Wednesday is the best way to do it.
Hey,
5
Tom
years
and
ago-
Dick, I mean, can I
Go
ask
ahead,
you a
go ahead.
question? I mean,
Yep.
you mentioned about the CRM Grow. I mean, I just subscribed with CRM Grow actually like a couple of months ago. And then, I think I need, the contents like the video, things like that. How can I access all those things that you guys have already? Is there any way that you guys could share all those videos?
Rodrigo, if you signed
Yeah.
up on my affiliate link, those who sign up on
Okay.
my affiliate link, which I just asked Samantha to put it in the chat, if you sign up on that affiliate link, number one, I get revenue share. Number two
Okay.
is you get access to all of my content. I have like over 100 content on there for you to use, but you have to be part of my
Okay.
affiliate link and part of the EXP sprint team in CRM Grow. You can find that. Here's a bonus
Okay.
tonight. For those who are not on my affiliate link, just because you're on this call, text me privately or send me and I'll add you to my CRM Grow with all of my folders with 100 different videos and content for you. Sam, when you edit this, take this out of my YouTube channel. I'm not allowing people on YouTube to just reach out to me directly. Just for the folks on the call tonight. Okay? All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Questions so far, and then we're going to go step 6, step 7, and then we're going to get into the lie about the buffer.
Tom, if I could just say a couple things on your very beautiful presentation on revenue share. First of all, it sounds like you've read the book Building an Empire. Have you?
I have. Multi-level marketing book. It's awesome.
Yeah, Brian's a good friend of mine. He and I go way back 20 some odd years, but Guys, if you haven't read that book, Brian Carruthers, Build an Empire, it's excellent. Eric Worre also wrote a book called GoPro. The last probably 2 or 3 chapters of that book, basically everything Tom just said is in Eric's book. So that's another fantastic book. But this is what I've noticed about, because my former background, Tom, as you probably know, is network marketing. I was kind of a big dog in a company called Prepaid Legal, made a bunch of money, built a team of about 25,000 agents. But this is a skill set that's different than being a real estate agent. And that's why there's so many agents that shy away from revenue share, because they don't understand. We don't talk about 3-way calls. We don't talk about edification and validation and all that stuff as a real estate agent. So each one of those 5 steps that you shared tonight, maybe with the exception of the wealth chart, which I'm staring at mine right there, there's skills that are built into each one of those steps that you have to learn. And the key to building a big revenue share team is one word: duplication. And so if everybody can't do what you're doing, then it's not going to grow. It has to be something that an 80-year-old real estate agent from, Tucson, Arizona can do just as well as you can. So that's when we create these systems, save yourself some time, energy, and money. That's what system stands for, so that everybody can do it. And if everybody can do it, we can absolutely kick the crap. I'm better not say that because we're being recorded, but we can actually become the #1 brokerage in the world.
We will. We
year
will,
and a half.
Tony. Absolutely. Those were golden nuggets that he just dropped right there. Golden nuggets. This guy has been around. He's built organizations before. Thank you, Tony.
Well, thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Number 6. 5 years ago, it was only 5 steps. I've been doing this long enough. I've enrolled. I've had over 5,000 conversations over 5 years, 1,000 a year, right? My organization is now up to 1,800 agents. I have someone in my organization who has 300 agents beyond level 7 for me.
Wow.
Right. Okay. But what I'm saying to you, where was I going with this?
A 6th step.
The 6th step, very important. We don't talk about it much, is the enrollment, is the onboarding.
Mm-hmm.
It is so critical. You've worked for weeks, months, years. They complete the onboarding application, join exprealtor.com. He says, I got one. And then you say, I got one. And then you totally forgot about them. They get lost. You haven't introduced them to their state broker because you're in New York and they're in California. You haven't made sure that they show up every week in the California state meeting. You haven't invited them to Big Win Wednesday. You haven't invited them. You haven't looked at the calendars to see what is important to them. You've been trying to do all this discovery, what they need in the business. Do they want lead generation? Do they want training? Do they want support? Do they want to do luxury? Do they want to do commercial? And then we sign them up and we leave them and we forget about loving them. I and Marissa now stay on top of them for at least a month. When Arjun came on, when Rodrigo, who's driving right now, came on, we poured into them for over a month. We want to make sure that they plugged in. And if they weren't showing up and they doing the work, you have not recruited them. Yeah, they're in, but you're going to bring one in, you're going to lose one on the other side, on the other end.
Tom, it's very much akin to going out to restaurants these days. And I don't know if COVID created this or it's always been there, but how many of you have had an experience where you go to a nice restaurant with your bride or your husband or your friend, your partner, whatever, and you have this great experience? The server's right there. They're filling up your water glass and they're bringing you, refills, and they're doing all this stuff. And then when you're done eating and you're ready to pay the bill so you can get the heck out of there, they're nowhere to be found. Does that happen to anybody besides me? It's
frustrating.
Like, you worked so hard to win my 20% tip. And in the last 15 minutes, you totally crucified it because you've left us, abandoned us. And so that, Tom, I could not agree with you more. Recruiting someone to me means when they've either sold a couple of houses or they've recruited a couple of agents. They're not recruited until they're recruiting, or they're not recruited until they're selling houses and getting stock at EXP. So love that.
The biggest
you gotta be there with them. Be there with them every day. I love that. First 30 days, You know, just like a parent birthing a newborn child, you're not going to throw them over in the corner and say, fend for yourself. You're going to be right there changing their diaper, you know, getting that vomit on your shoulder for those of you that are parents. Pee in the face if you got little baby boys. You know, I've got 3 sons and I got the pee in the face, but I was there for them. I was there nurturing them, taking care of them along with their mother. And we have to have that same kind of parental attitude when it comes to bringing babies into EXP, whether they're a 40 million, 80 million, or a brand new baby that's never sold the house. We have a fiduciary and a moral responsibility to take care of these people until they are rooted at EXP. We can't abdicate our responsibility to some employee at EXP when these are our people that's going to be generating an annuity for our family for the rest of our life, potentially. We have to take that responsibility. We can't pass that on to a $15 an hour employee and wherever they are. You know, as much as our people do such a great job helping us onboard people, I never pass on that responsibility to our agent or to our employees. I spend probably, Tom, I don't know about you, but my first week with every producing agent that I bring to EXP, I'm at least 7 hours with them the first week, at least. And we're going through every minutia of every little program at EXP. I want them to know everything I know about this company because I want them to be with me forever. I'm not here to bring people in and watch them 3 years from now or 2 years from now or 2 months from now, walk out the door and have to go work my butt. And all you're doing is spinning plates and, you know, dropping crap everywhere. This is about retention, not attrition. And that's what you're talking about here is taking care of your people. They'll take care of you.
Mic drop, baby. Mic drop. Come on. Daniel
Hey,
Torres.
Tom, Tony, that was huge. Do either of you gentlemen have a list, like a checkoff sheet that you can share with the rest of us that you use like an outline that we can personalize?
Yeah, I can.
Walk them through some of the more important
Daniel,
things.
yeah,
as
Daniel, do you
onboarding.
see what's after my name on Zoom?
Agentsgetfree.com.
It's right there.
You
That's
got the
right.
list on there? Okay.
Log in there and grab it.
Tony, you shared Tom's list or do you have a different one?
Yeah, I've never seen Tom's list, but if you just hit me up on Workplace, Work Chat, I will
Okay.
send it right over to you. I've got it in a PDF. It's more specific to maybe Arizona, but no, it's not. It's general. It's very general. But yeah, I'll be happy to share. You can, you know, tweak it and do whatever you want with it.
Go to
Obviously,
agentsgetfree.com
all
and
of us would
search
have to personalize it to
onboarding.
our state.
Oh, I'm
Search
so sorry.
onboarding.
Huh?
My onboarding has onboarding for every state, all 50
Okay.
states.
Love that.
Okay. Samantha, who's our executive assistant here, she and our team of 4 other executive assistants work very hard to give this into you. Tony said it earlier, if it doesn't duplicate, it doesn't matter. The systems. We have these systems for you guys. You just have to get them to plug in. Okay. All right. That's steps. That's step 6. They signed up, they enrolled. Step 7, the last one was mentioned earlier. The fortune is in the follow-up, the FU. These days, after speaking with over 5,000 agents over the past 5 years, I'm doing more follow-up than I am doing new introductions. There's agents who I showed this 5 years ago who have still not started. Okay. There's a rock star agent. Dick Lee, you were in that room when we invited them to the to the Capitol Grill for a high-end rock star event. I've been chasing this couple for 5 years. They're finally coming on board. They're going to be head turners when they make a move because I followed up, and then followed up again, probably 100 times.
Yeah, thank you for that. So, I mean, one thing that I want everybody to really just set in for a minute, right, is that it takes on average, unless you're a brand new agent, if you are an experienced top producing agent, the minimum time is 6 months, minimum. It's going to take them a little bit of time, right? They're going to get the numbers, but then they get busy and they get busier, and it just takes some time just to transition because they can't stop the transactions from happening, but they still hear the buzz about it. So it's all about the FU as we keep preaching. Just got to follow up once a month. It'd be like, hey, Glenn, would you mind if I follow up with you every 30, 45 days or so? Just please promise that if you come to EXP that you name me as a sponsor and not name anybody else. Would you please pinky swear that? I just want to follow up with you every month. I know now may not be the right time, because you're extremely busy. I'm extremely scheduled as well too. But let me help you and let's build an empire together. Is that okay? Are you okay with me following up with you, Glenn? And that's it. But don't expect them to sign up from day one. If they're new, if they are a new agent, okay, they're not going to understand what a cap is. They're not going to understand, what's a comparative market analysis and how we can do that in 5 minutes with our KV Core technology. They don't even know what a CMA is. Okay. But they should understand numbers, and they should understand how to do lead generation using KV Core by sending them buyer leads. So part of my presentation, whenever I do a newbie is anybody less than a year, okay, is I do part of my presentation, I'm doing EXP at 101 is I'm going to KV Core, I'm showing how easy it is to generate a buyer lead, how easy it is to generate a market report. And then they usually come right over because they don't have that. They're like, oh, it's so easy. Yeah, it's easy to do. Now you got to execute.
Love it. Love that. All right, guys. Sam, go ahead and stop. Actually, you know what? Keep recording, Sam, but we're going to move on to the second section. Sam, when you edit this video for me, do the full length, and then I want you to cut it up twice. The first section, which is we just completed, and then the second session, the cover page is the lie about EXP's revenue share. That's going to be the face, the cover of the YouTube channel. All right. So here we go, guys. I'm going to share with you my spreadsheet. Okay, can everyone see my Excel spreadsheet?
A little blurry. There it goes.
Okay. Hang tight here. Let me go back to the master. Okay. Can you guys see that? It says Jen, the agent.
It's my wife right there, Tom.
I know. I did that for you, man. I know that. All right. So this is how most influencers, most EXP agents explain revenue share. I recruit Jen. Jen goes in and Jen sells a $400,000 house or 500 or 6,000 or 600,000, whatever. And the commission earned is 2.5%. And the gross revenue is 10,000. The company split takes 20% at the first transaction until they cap. The agent gets $88,000, which is 80%, and we deduct on the residential side $65 for broker review fee and errors and omissions. For the commercial side, we deduct $350, which is $100 for errors and omissions, and $250 transaction fee. Right? That's commercial. That's residential. And then most people say, okay, so now Jen sells $3.2 million. Oh, so before we do that, so if you brought in Jen, let's use, let's say Matt brought in Jen, all right. Then most agents will say, well, you get 3.5% revenue share. And so 3.5% of revenue share equals $350. And then if Bernie brought Matt in, and if Bernie has 5 or more productive agents, Bernie then not only gets the 0.2% of expansion share, which is automatic, regardless of whether Bernie has 5 or more productive agents, he'll get that automatically. But once he has 5 or more productive agents, a productive agent at EXP is someone who closes $5,000 in gross commission income every 6 months. When he does that, Bernie then qualifies for this exponential revenue share of another 3.8%. So expansion is $20, exponential is $380, and then we send you an extra $400 because you got 5 or more to Bernie. And then let's say Kenny brought in Bernie. If Kenny brought in 1 to 9, then he gets this 0.1%, and we send him a check of $10 from the Jen's production, from the $2,000 company split. But if Kenny brings in 14 or more qualifying agents, he then qualifies for the exponential additional 2.4% for a total of 2.5, and we send him an extra $240 for $250. Now, Jen is going to cap when she sells 8 of these transactions. 400 times 8 transactions, my modeling is 3.2 million. And commission, assuming it's 2.5%, She earns 80,000 in gross revenues. Company takes 20%. She keeps 64,000. And if she's a residential agent, she did $65 per transaction times 8 transactions. And this is what we would deduct from her. And then her 1099 at the end of the year, if that's all she did, was 63,840. That is her cap. After that, she goes to 100% and there's no more revenues to share. And so most videos out there, 99, I think 100% of videos out there say 20 up to 2,800, 32 or 2,000 for tiers 1, 2, and 3. Here's the big lie. There's this thing called the buffer. No one talks about it. How do I know what the buffer is? Let's pull up my revenue share through EXP. So how do you look for your revenue share? Here we go. Let me pull this up. Sam, when you edit this, just edit this part out, okay? So so that we don't have any downtime in the video. So I open up my EXP enterprise. Okay, and I share EXP enterprise. You guys have this, and I log in. Okay. Once again, full disclosure, just because I'm successful with revenue share building doesn't mean you will be, or you can be wildly successful beyond what I've managed to do in 5 years. I'm pulling up my revenue share dashboard. And here's what I've done so far. Today is the 22nd. We reset about 4 days ago, 4 or 5 business days ago. We reset on about the 17th of the month, I believe. And I am basically 4 to 5 days into the new month. 4 to 5 days in the new month, I've already gotten 14,702 of these revenue share checks. When I click on Michelle Ronaldi, you'll see that she closed a deal in North Ocean Drive down in Riviera Beach, Florida, which is near West Palm Beach. And when I click on that, you can see here, she's on my level 2, so I get the 1% expansion share, 19% exponential share. And before the SRS buffer, I would have been paid $1,189. But because EXP takes this buffer, I would take $321 divided by 11.89. The buffer is 27%. They paid me $867. And that's what the current buffer here now is on February 22nd, 2023. The buffer has been as high as 37% and as low as 0%. Let me stop share there. In our presentation, there's another lie. In our presentations, agents would say that EXP takes in 20% and we pay out half of it each and every month. That's a lie. Here's the good news. We actually pay more than 50% because the buffer only took away 27%, which means EXP paid 73%, more than 50%. How cool is that? Agents never make the two connections. Did I lose anybody? So we are actually doing better than, from that perspective, we are doing better in terms of the payout. When we show EXP revenue share and we don't show the buffer, we're actually lying. But when you mention that we actually pay 73%, we're in the clear. We're doing better.
Tom, I might not have followed the math, but obviously we're all, family
Yeah.
here. We can talk about this stuff, but when it's all said and done, the buffer doesn't actually, because they always end up, I always get more. I mean, I know the math because I've done all the backwards math and know how to calculate all that. But
right.
The reality is when I first started, we would also get bonuses instead of them taking the buffer because we were paying out, maybe more than they should have been, or this company stated that they're going to pay. They used to pay us bonuses, so we would get more than we thought, right? But on the other piece, are you factoring in on that buffer when they finish settling the month and add the additional 6 or 7?
I haven't talked about revenue share plus yet, Tony. That'll
Okay,
be
all right. I haven't
that'll
seen
be something else for a different day. Yeah, no revenue share plus. It's complicated enough.
Okay,
So
got it.
here, Here, if the company pays out 50%, then it's not $2,800, but it's actually $1,400 per year per capping agent, because we only pay out 50% of company dollar. But in reality, folks, it's just 27% instead of 0.5%. So instead of 1,400 at 50%, we actually pay more at 2,044. But we certainly do not pay up to $2,800 per agent per year. You guys with me?
Tom, did you create this spreadsheet?
Yes, I did, sir.
You share it?
Yes, I will share it with you. Tony.
I
For
love this
those who are on
spreadsheet.
this
That's why I don't have to
call,
recreate it.
text me privately and share
Okay.
it. Sam, take this out of the recording.
Cut it out, Sam. I'm
So
being
I
selfish.
have recruited agents who have joined me because I finally showed the buffer the right way and I was not misleading anybody.
Yeah, that's really, really well done. I love that.
Guys, we're at the end of the time there. I hope this helped you, right? So it's still awesome because look, even with the buffer, if you brought in one agent in this year, you'll get 2,000 a month, 2,000 a year in revenue share. Got it? Or $170 a month. If you just brought in 5, that with the buffer, they're paying you 10,000 a year or $852 a month. Okay, guys, that's health insurance for some people. And then when you have 5, bring in 5 each for a total of 25. That's more than a mortgage for some people. That might be a mortgage and all of your car payments. That certainly is a mortgage for most Americans and their health insurance. And then what if you shot for the moon and you brought in 10 over the next 2 years? That's only 1 every 2 months, and you can take some time off. And then you hope that those 10 bring in 10 each. And I did this in basically 2.5 years instead of 5 years here. 2.5 years, right? And right now, if you look at this, I've done, let's call it 25 cappers who help 10 each, and I'm running at about $600,000 a year in revenue share. My highest month, actually less than that. It's more like this. It's more than that. My highest per month was $49,000.
Tom, I know you put your pants on the same way I do, so that's inspirational to me. I appreciate you sharing that tonight.
1 out of 20 will crush this. I hope that one of you on this call will outperform all of us on this call. You have the tools, you have the know-how, you have the expertise, you have us collaborating and pouring into you every Wednesday here. You have your sponsors. Get your ego out of the way. Share this program with agents, professional invite, go through the steps that I talked to you about, and we will do the heavy lifting for you. Glenn, I have no doubt that Ariana is going to come on and join us, and all you did was professionally invite her. I have no doubt. Dick, please follow up with Ariana and close her. If you need me on the line, get me on the line.
Well, that's the beauty of it, is Glenn wasn't even on until she was getting off, but the team took care of her for him, right? So that's the beauty of third party and having the team working together here on Wednesday night.
All right.
Sure.
She's definitely coming on board. There's no question. She's
There's
probably
no doubt. She was interactive. She was asking
She was
questions.
the first person to ask a question.
No doubt. Glenn, go get more Arianas.
Sure.
You got
All
it.
right, guys.
Thanks,
4
Tom.
minutes
Thanks,
left.
everybody.
Go ahead, Pat.
I just want to do a shout out. I got to, and this is obviously not for the other recording, but
Sam, you can stop the recording, please. Yep. Thank you, Sam. Go ahead.